What's up, everyone? This is the Creative Doc bringing you another video, but this time we're focusing on inspiration. Now, a lot of people have complimented the abstract wall that sits behind me in my office, so I wanted to kind of show you a more simpler way of doing an abstract wall. Now, before we get started, I want to provide a disclaimer and let you all know that I am not a professional. This is just something that I do on the side for myself. So go ahead and click subscribe and let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have all of your materials. I did use a ladder. I used painter's tape. I used the paint that I wanted to use. I actually used two of them, two different colors. And then I also used like a shimmer or resin, I think it's called, to go into my paint. Don't forget, you will need a paintbrush. You'll need two of them, maybe even three, of different sizes. You will also need some type of covering to go over the floor, whether it's plastic or cloth. The first thing you want to do is pick a small wall that you want to do. I used the wall that's in my powder room, and then I began to tape around the perimeter of the wall. You want to tape the ceiling part, you want to tape the opposite ends from each other, and then also you want to tape across the bottom where your molding or trim begins. Since my wall will be smoky gray and gold, I began by using a roller brush to paint some random abstract shapes across the wall. Now, it does not have to be perfect, but it does have to be thick enough to where when you put the painter's tape across it, it covers the area before you can start painting the second color. Here's a little close-up of the abstract shapes that I painted. Again, it does not have to be perfect. You want to try your best to be neat, but it does not have to be perfect. You just have to make sure that when you put that painter's tape across it, it will cover that area. Now, while I was waiting on the paint to dry, I asked my husband to put up some shelves on the opposite side of the wall. Just a little something I got from Amazon. It's going to hold soaps and toilet paper and all kind of other stuff. And I will be putting the link in the description. Now, I waited on the wall to dry for about 30 to 45 minutes. But I do recommend allowing it about 2.5 hours to completely dry. I noticed that once I started peeling off the painter's tape, it took some of the paint with it, so it was not completely dry. Now here you see me placing random strips of painter's tape down the center of the abstract lines that I painted. Now keep in mind that I am not a professional, so my job is not going to be perfect. I literally just did enough to get by. So what I did here was I placed the painter's tape along the center of the abstract shapes or golden lines. Another thing I did was to use a smaller roller brush to go ahead and paint a second coat of that gold. Next, I picked up my smoky black paint and I began to use a separate roller brush, which is a smaller one, to paint over the blue tape as well as the golden lines that you see here. Now, you have to be very, very, very careful when it comes to painting near that ceiling. I recommend you use a small brush to kind of cover those empty spaces instead of using the roller brush. I learned it the hard way. You're pretty safe when it comes to the sides of the walls because you have that blue painter's tape to kind of stop you before you run into the next wall. Don't forget, you want to do about 2 to 3 coats of that solid color or the majority of the color that you want to use, and be careful, make sure that it is completely dry before you start with the next coat. That's a mistake that I made. Now here's why it's time consuming, because you should wait probably overnight or probably about a couple of hours to wait until that paint dries before you decide to pull off the painter's tape. I was a little too excited to wait, so I went ahead and started pulling, and I paid for it later. At this point, I'm so excited, like, ooh, so much to the point where I'm seeing my errors in the tape. I'm sorry, not in the tape, but in the strips. As you can see, I paid for it later, and you can see that white piece that's in the center that got torn off by tape because I failed to wait. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting my artsy thing on it, twist on it by using a small paint brush. And I'm going back over those lines with that gold. Okay, so now it's on. I'm really into it now because now I'm starting to pull off the sides of the paint and see how clean those lines are. Yeah. I know you already know what the wall looks like, but I had to make it fun by adding that little reveal thing there. Here's my finished product that I'm very just excited about and proud of. I added a little candle there. I think at the time Bath and Body were doing a sale. And also put my pictures back on the opposite sides of the wall. But that's my abstract wall using only 2 colors. You can do the same thing using different colors, just like the one in my office. The only difference with adding multiple colors is that you won't paint over the entire wall. Instead, you would just paint these sides that you would like to be a certain color. Now, if you like this video and you felt inspired and you think it's something that you can try, I want you to go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would also like for you to comment with any questions you may have. And then don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.